Now, as far as the filtration system on both machines, you could have, and I have to talk in a neutral terminology here, or neutral terms I should say, you'll have some type of filtration system or cyclone or something. In the case of the Vector that I sold, it had a cyclone. And I have a model of a cyclone here. I have two of them. One is used on another machine, an industrial machine, but it's the same at the top. This is what a cyclone looks like. Does anybody know what's inside of them? What if I tell you nothing? There's absolutely nothing inside of them. But I want to use this to illustrate something. Do you remember my map I had a while ago of the U.S., with Texas in it there? You remember that map? I'm not going to draw it again because that might embarrass itself. But down in the Gulf of Mexico, we see these little things. Anybody ever lived down in South Texas, Louisiana, along the coast, and see the little things in the Gulf of Mexico or in the Atlantic?
Hurricane.
What do they call those? Hurricanes? Now, what's going on there? You got a low pressure area. You hear the weather guy, well, you guys from California don't have them, or out here you just don't have them. We certainly don't have them in Nevada. They'll talk about this is going to really be a bad hurricane because it's the 999 millibars of mercury, millibars rather than inches, the extremely low pressure. And the lower that pressure gets, the more violent that hurricane becomes, because the faster that air tries to come in. What's happening is you have a low pressure area and this air is coming in. And it starts coming in and producing cyclonic action. You know what they call a hurricane below the equator? It's called tropical cyclones. But basically, that's what we have here. Think about what you're looking at here at the top of it. This is hooked to a vacuum source. In this case, we're going to be hooked to this vacuum shop vac here. What do I do when I hook up here? I create a low pressure area right here, don't I? Now this end has to be sealed here, and I'm going to seal it with a jar in a few minutes. And then I hook this up to a hose to load material or let material come in. Now what have I done? I created a low pressure area here. What is pressure trying to do? I said it right at the beginning. It's trying to equalize itself in it. Now we're going to use it in a different way now. Because it's trying to equalize itself, we bring in the inlet to the side of the cyclone and the outlet where the air goes out to the center. So as we create that, what direction is this one going to spin? It's going to spin like this, isn't it? In a circle just like that. I've got one here. Let's see if I can hold it up there. Can you see the difference? I can make my cyclone spin in either direction. It's been counterclockwise above the equator, counterclockwise below the equator. But we're trying to make it do work. Now, what is this going to do? What does this do to as far as taking material out of it? How does that work? What does it do? How does it work? I can better illustrate it by taking this hose. I want to take the centrifugal forces of this coming in and spinning, which is going to take the material to the outside of this wall of this Haaker water pipe is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? See how that wants to go out there because it's heavier there? Same thing with that air. Now, as the air comes into the cyclone, laden with dust or material or whatever's in there, is that material denser than air or lighter than air? Well, obviously it's denser than air. It's a lot heavier than air, isn't it? So the centrifugal forces spin this out of the airstream, and then they, as they fall out, you can even see it marked on this cyclone. Can you see it on that TV there? Where it's kind of worn that as this material comes down. I don't know if you can see it or not. Hey, you really can't. I can't. So that's how the cyclone works. But it won't work like this. Because if I took the air out here and loaded here, where would it really want to go? It would want to go here, wouldn't it? So we have to have what we call a dead airspace. And I'm going to use this jar here to simulate the dead airspace. And once I seal that off, the pressure becomes static. And here you might have some spinning airflow, but it's equal everywhere inside that cyclone. It's obviously lower inside here than it is in this room, but it's lower. So we'll start off, we're going to do a demo here and actually make this cyclone work. I'm going to hook it up to my vacuum source. I'll put my dead airspace on it. I'm going to need you guys, help me again here now. No, these guys, let's use the same guy. No, you want to help too? You want to load the material? Okay, you can. We're gonna start off with the coffee. This is some coffee. It has a little talcum powder mixed in it. Because I didn't clean it right one time, but it still serves its purpose. I want to dump this coffee out here. Now I'm gonna let you load it. Kind of squat down, if you will, on the ground so the camera can see it, and people can see it. Is that the best side for it?
Well, his head's gonna be right in the way of the centrifugal thing. Okay.
Yeah, go to the other side. Yeah. This whole, I have to make all this stuff where I can load it up in a box and ship it around the country rather than one big model. So now we're all set up. We should be sealed up. This makes a good enough seal here, but when you hold it down, it will create the dead airspace. But what I want you to really notice, and if you can zoom the camera in a little bit more on this so the guys can see it. Watch as the material comes in here. You'll see it make a black line spin and go down and fall out. But I want you to also notice that this balloon is really being agitated by the airflow going through the whole system. It's jumping around. You won't be able to see it, but these guys will, and I want you to see if any of the material makes it through the system into this chamber here where the balloon is. Okay, all ready? Go a little slower so you'll be done for it. Can you see how it's spinning going down here, falling out? I know how it's supposed to work, so I can see it. But you can see how it's even holding in the airspace right here. But if you're up close, you can see the stuff spinning here. Let me turn it off for a second. Even at the low airflow, yeah, it held up there until the last minute, didn't it? This, when I made this, I had to figure out. I said this is 135 CFM. This little machine, 135 CFM, about 40 inches of water. We'll do that demonstration a little later. And this had to be about this size, about 4 inches to scale down to the machine that we manufactured similar to that. But it surprised me how well it worked. But let's go ahead and load that up so we'll have that coffee in a jar. Okay. All the coffee was picked up. But do you see any over here? Not a speck, do you? Not one speck made it through that system. So I'm just going to dump this in here. We're going to do something a little different. To show you how, and it amazed me when I built this thing, how efficient the cyclones can be. Cyclones can be a really efficient source of method to take material out of an airstream to protect the blower. But they have to be maintained properly. If they're not maintained properly, like the dead airspace particularly, where you keep the clean, no leaks in it, they won't work properly. But let's do this. Can you see this? I'm going to try to, whoop. That is about anywhere from 5 to 10 micron. You probably couldn't see it in the back. You can see it in the front there. That's just talking about baby powder. That's pretty fine stuff. I've seen, in the case of the vacuum, the cyclones on it, and I use it only because of my experience. I've seen dust in the bottom of it. You probably have too, Bill. I mean, in the bottom, where does that come from? It actually, the dust might come in through the system. It comes off the tank. The cyclone will actually take it out if they're maintained properly. They work quite well. So let's just do this. Just hold that down there for us. Now, what I want you to watch is, this is the last time you're going to see this clear. Because once we start this, it's static electricity, it's just going to cloud it up. It's going to cloud it with powder. And it's hard to imagine that that's going through there and separated out of the airstream. These guys will see it very well. See how much you see over here. Look faster. Can you see how, look at that there? You don't see, it's clouded up. You see it going through here, but nothing here. Very low up. Okay. Turn it off a second. As you can see, if that was in your filtration system, any water droplets or anything that might be of any size in your machine that's going through, it's going to take it out. It really will, guys, if you maintain it properly. But in the case of, I'm just going to use a vacuum because maybe this is somewhere on other machines too. You'll see a little knockout box, similar to this jar, a lot bigger obviously, in the bottom of the Cyclone. It's got a gasket here. That's where you can open up and dump the stuff out here. And other machines will have other methods you can clean them out as well. It just varies from machine to machine. I'm using this because it's most familiar. You open it up, you'll find this dust in the bottom of it. Just dump it out, clean it out. It might be sand. It could be anything that you were in previously, but it has to be maintained. But there's a gasket here. And that gasket is critical, guys. And I'm going to show you why in our demonstration. To demonstrate how critical that gasket is, what we're going to do is we're going to start this up again, and see this is still clean. You don't see any dust in there, do you? And we're going to start running this, and just run it about the same speed. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate a gasket that's either needs replacing or is even missing, or sometimes you see people put duct tape on them. But I'm going to simulate that leaking gasket by just collapsing this Cyclone right here. So once I collapse that Cyclone along the edge of this, air is going to go where? In there. It's going to want to take the path of least resistance, isn't it? Then where's it going to go? It's going to go up. What's it going to do to my Cyclone, my hurricane, or whatever? It totally disrupts the flow of it then, because the air is not going in like it's supposed to. When again, pressure is trying to equalize itself. Where's it going? It's going up here. It's hitting this cyclonic action, disturbing it. It's not a cyclone anymore. It's just a place for the air to become all confused on where it's supposed to go next. And then you're going to get dust. So when we're doing this, the instant I collapse this Cyclone right here, you're going to see what happens over here. And I'll tell you when I'm going to do it. We get out of here working. Okay? I'll just do this thing. You just load it in about a little faster than you did before. Everything's fine now, fine. Look at that. Fine. Here I go, right now. See it happen? See it flying all around? You guys up in the front over here, you can see it, and you can see it real well. You can see how that's that little leak what it did to that, couldn't you? So what am I trying to teach you here? You got to maintain the filtration system. If you do, these things, this will run, they'll run for many years without any problem. If you don't, you're going to be spending some money, you know. I'm going to detail the micro strainer. All machines will have some kind of strainer again to take anything big, rags, whatever, out of the airstream, bolts, pliers, whatever. The silencer system, that varies. Most of them are fairly similar. You'll see silencers basically on PD blower machines. The PD blower makes it a loud pulsating machine. If you didn't have a silencer, you ever want to run without a silencer, you see why they have silencers on. Whereas the fans, they work totally different. They're not compressing air in the same manner. They're compressed by centrifugal force rather than positive displacement.